There are hundreds of thousands of different e-commerce brands on the market right now that are looking to buy different products or services, which is why in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can cold email all these different e-commerce stores, CPG brands, and make sure that you get your products or services in front of them so that they can book calls with you and buy your services. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. All right, so diving in, how to cold email e-commerce companies. We're going to be covering how to actually set up the email infrastructure so you can send them emails. We're going to cover how to scrape the leads, how to make sure you're finding people within the e-commerce industry. We're going to be talking about how to write the scripts, and then we're also going to be showing you how you can book them into calls. So yeah, overviewing that again, how to build the accounts, where to source the data, how to write the campaigns, and how to respond to the messages and book them in for calls. So first thing, I'm going to cover why you should listen to me. My name is Matt Lucero. I'm the founder over at Anivo Marketing, which is a B2B lead generation agency. I teach a bunch of different people. We send a couple 100,000 emails a month, and I've targeted a ton of CPG brands so you can learn from my mistakes and learn how to do it yourself. I booked over 1,000 sales calls, sent out millions of emails. So I've done this a couple times, might have a thing or two to be able to share here. So the first thing we're going to cover is how to build the email infrastructure. So if you're going to want to send emails to e-commerce companies so they can know about your product or service, you're first going to need to set up the email accounts to do so. So the first, thing that most people think is, hey, I'm just going to send email accounts off of their main, whatever company account. And that's not good, because if you want to send results at scale, so like, let's say you want to send 500 plus emails a day, if you send it from a singular email account, you're going to get flagged, you're going to go to spam, and or you're going to ruin the reputation of your work domain. So once you start sending these emails, if you get flagged or reported as spam, that's going to transfer over to your entire company domain. And so if you have someone else in your team and they're trying to send emails, or you're trying to send proposals to someone, or whatever it might be, all your emails are going to go to spam. So you don't want to be using your main domain that you use all your normal email activity for. And so the best practice is to set up multiple different accounts under multiple different domains, add them to a warm-up pool, which is essentially a pool of other email accounts that can boost your email's reputation, and then wait 14 days before launching campaigns to make sure your email accounts have a higher reputation. So if you use a tool like Smartlead AI, this simplifies this process a lot. They have the built-in warm-up features, inbox rotations. That means if you have 10 different email accounts, it'll automatically you can automatically assign all those 10 accounts to one campaign, and it will rotate through those accounts evenly, so you're not sending 500 emails from one singular account per day. So you can do this as little as $37 a month for Smartlead, plus the cost of the email account. So I'm not going to make a full-blown video, or this video specifically won't be a full-blown video on setting up email accounts. But in short, you should set up as many accounts as you can through Google or Microsoft. Create 1 to 3 users per domain. So you don't want to stack a bunch of different email accounts on a singular domain, because the more you can spread out your email infrastructure, the better. And you need to set up as many domains as needed. So let's say you want to set up 2 different email users per account. So you have like a gym@company.com or a gymme@company.com, and then you can spread it across multiple domains, and you can make these domains similar to your main domain so it comes across just as normal. So you can spread out across this email infrastructure, send the emails out, and then you're going to be able to send emails at scale with better deliverability. So the current best practice is to send less than 50 total emails per day, including the warm-up emails. These again are the simulated emails that will boost your email account's reputation. And so if you want to send, let's say 500 emails per day, then that means you need to set up roughly 20 different accounts. So because again, if you send out 500 emails from one singular account, you're going to get flagged as doing, non-human activity, because a typical human doesn't send out 500 emails per day. So you set up the accounts, connect them to Smartlead, add them to warm up for 14 days. And in the meantime, you can build your lists and strategy. So this little dashboard screenshots what it looks like in Smartlead. So these are the different warm-up emails, and you can see some of them go to spam. And what Smartlead's warm-up algorithm does is it reports them not as spam, pulls them out, and then you can see with time the email reputation got better, so your emails actually land in the inbox. So this is how you set up the email infrastructure. You set up multiple accounts across multiple domains, connect it to Smartlead, and while they are warming up for those 14 days, you can start to build out your list and strategy, which is what we're going to cover next. So now, next question most people have is, where do you source the data? How do you actually find these e-commerce companies that you can reach out to? And if you're targeting e-commerce or CPG brands, there's not going to be a shortage of data, and there's tons of different companies within the space, legitimately hundreds of thousands. Here's a few of my personal favorites, and I'll go quickly over the pros and cons. Apollo.io, this is a great general data source. They have a ton of data on a ton of different industries. Specifically with e-commerce, you can filter by Shopify. They're very cost effective and they have a ton of data on a ton of different industries. So if you want to scrape other industries, Apollo is great for that. Listkit.io is another platform I'd recommend. They are simply, or they're just like Apollo, except they real-time validate the email accounts as you export them. So either if you want to validate your own emails, you can do that through a tool like Smartlead. There's plenty of other tools that do that as well. But Listkit does it as you export the data to make sure that you're getting valid emails that you can reach out to without having a high bounce rate. Another one you can take a look at is Storeleads. So Storeleads is a custom database just for Shopify and e-commerce stores. They have hundreds of thousands. I think they legitimately have millions of stores on this platform. The only downside to Storeleads is that they're only e-commerce specific, which is great actually because there's probably more e-commerce data there than anywhere else. But the only downside is they don't provide the actual email account. So you have to take the domains that they give you and plug it into another data source to actually get the emails you want to reach out to. And then another great one to look at is Crunchbase. So Crunchbase is mainly for startups. And so this is good if you want to find recently funded CPG brands or e-commerce stores that recently just raised money. And this can be great because then you can get people that are well funded and are ready to invest in different products or services. Also really great, tons of different CPG brands and startups really on Crunchbase there too. But also like Crunchbase, you have to enrich it through another one of these email provider platforms. So now that you've sourced the data, you've used one of those platforms, you found the email accounts, you have your email accounts warming, now you want to write your campaigns. Now we're going to talk about how to write the campaigns, how you can actually write the scripts that will convert people into calls. So e-commerce, it's one of the most cold emailed industries. To make sure that you have a high converting campaign, you need to make sure your emails stand out. So here are some of the best practices that I follow to make sure that I'm getting as much results as possible. And what I've seen work especially well for e-commerce, this is really true across all the industries, but this is even more important across e-commerce. The first best practice is to make sure your emails are short and direct. If you have a giant email and it doesn't get to the point, people will have very low attention spans and not end up booking calls or be interested to hear about your product or service. You need to get directly to the point, make it short and direct, lead with value. So what we've seen perform very well is a lead magnet of some sort, leading with some sort of free value, not just saying like, hey, give me 30 minutes of your time, but offering something free, giving them a sort of freebie, giving them a free audit. Anything you can do that leads with value and shows that you're genuinely interested in helping them out, that helps a ton. Personalizing and tailoring your emails as much as possible. So if you're reaching out to health and wellness brands, you can call out that they're a health and wellness brand or call out your unique selling proposition to them. So any way you can personalize, tailor your emails, use ChatGPT to enrich. There's lots of different things to do on the email script writing side. And there's other videos here on this channel where we cover that. But these are the three main things I would make sure you do whenever you're writing campaigns for e-commerce brands. And here's a super simple framework for writing emails. Again, there's other videos on this channel. Make sure you watch this one to the end first though, where you can see how to write emails. But here's a super simple framework. Number one, call out why you're reaching out to them. Number two, explain your value proposition and what you can provide to them. Number three, give a very clear call to action of what the next steps are. And number four, include any other social proof, branding, stuff that shows that you're established and that you know what you're doing. So here's an example that I wrote out just to show what this could potentially look like. So hi name, I noticed your website doesn't have a buy now, pay later plugin. Did you know that can raise your sales by as much as 30%? We can install a plugin that will give users the option to pay later for your products while you receive all the money up front. We recently did this for XYZ brand and they grew their revenue by 15% within the first week of using our plugin, open to learning more. So this is a very good email. And I don't even have a sort of like lead magnet in this example because it's very direct and it shows how that they can increase their revenue. And it also hits on the main pain points, like what is their value proposition? They can increase their sales, they receive all the money up front, and it's working for other brands. And so this, I would say, is a very solid cold email. And if you're selling a product like this, I think this would do very well over email. And you can take a look at this and kind of adapt it based off whatever product or service you're selling to make sure you're getting the best results possible. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how you can book the meeting. So if you've executed everything above properly, you should be getting people interested in your products or services. Normally, it would be hard to track all these different conversations, but if you're using Smartlead, they have a master inbox feature that allows you to see all the leads from one central view. So if you reach out to 500 people a day and 10 people respond across all your different email accounts, Smartlead is able to compile them and put them in one central place where you can reply to the emails. And to make sure you're seeing the best results, you can respond as as quickly as possible to address their concerns. So you can see here in this image, I have it zoomed in really quick, really big here. But if you look here, you can see these are all the different emails that we received. And then you can respond directly through here. You can tag the different emails and you can basically manage all the responses from one central place. And from here, you can respond to their concerns, address their concerns, and get them booked in for sales calls where you can pitch them your products or services. So that wraps up today's video. If you want to send cold emails out to other e-commerce companies, just like I covered in this video, check out one of the first links in the description below and sign up for Smartlead. There's a 14-day free trial. You can play around with the tool completely for free, and then you can connect your email accounts, launch campaigns, and start sending out emails. Now, if you have any other questions about cold email, drop them in the comments below and check out the other videos on the channel here to learn more about cold email. I appreciate you guys a ton and take care.